Neil, you okay? Did you enjoy Darwin Day?
Very much so. We went out and had a meal and celebrated the great man's birthday.
Yeah, of course, as religious people always tell us, he's one of our gurus and our gods because evolution is a religion, right? So
that's right, it is.
So the church of our religion was a restaurant.
Yes.
With very large portions.
Extremely large portions, very nice food, and lots of drink and lots of celebrating.
Yeah. Which is exactly why you were saying to me we need to do a sort of a science denial episode. And there are things that we've discovered this week in the news that unfortunately fall into that category. And the first one we're going to look at, have you heard about this film that's been shown in London? It was cancelled and then it wasn't cancelled, advocating the gay cure therapy.
Yes, and very nice to hear View Cinema, which is a major cinema chain in the UK, have refused to host the filming. They were going to initially, but they changed their minds, so they're getting a lot of demonstrations from the Christians at the moment.
So this is from Pink News. A View Cinema is to host a screening of a film advocating gay cure therapy, air quotes, Pink News can reveal. The Core Issues Trust, an evangelical Christian group which advocates for efforts to change sexual orientation, announced a screening of the documentary Voices of the Silenced: Experts, Evidences and Ideologies. Sounds impressive, doesn't it?
There is evidence that some people can be helped and experience transformation.
The two questions that we raised with the Royal College of Psychiatrists were that people are not born gay and they can change.
I've completely changed, like even in the way how I look, the way how I view life, the way how I relate to other women, the way how I relate to men. And definitely something has grown in the way I see men. But I definitely have every now and then a thought. And I mean, yeah, there are definitely moments that I think, okay, you know, like, oh, I'm triggered a little bit. But I know where it comes from. And I know what the roots are to those triggers, and I also know what to do with it.
That's why it's essential to protect every person's right to reject the new orthodoxy that demands that homosexuality is to be celebrated.
Well, luckily, even though I think the Piccadilly Cinema did actually show it in the end, View International has dropped the screening, so that's good. The article goes on to say that the film's creators claim that it features 15 people who have come out of homosexual practices thanks to therapy or religion and challenges the myth that people are born gay. Now, I agree with this next line. Nearly every medical body in the world has disavowed gay cure therapy. That is true. We know that's true. The American Psychological Society, for one, association, they said not only does this not work, it causes harm.
Yeah, it causes mental harm, and pretty much every medical association around the world agrees that. And actually, some countries have even banned it, and several states in America have banned it too. Unfortunately, it isn't banned in the UK at the moment.
Yeah, you know, you'd think it would be, but I think it's probably on its way towards getting banned because, I mean, what with View leading the way like this, and good on View, it doesn't really hold with the values of people of this country.
No, it doesn't, but we've got a government, as I regularly have to say, unfortunately, a lot of their voters are Christians, and very old Christians, and they seem to back off it because they got a lot of backlash when they put the gay marriage through.
Oh yeah.
A lot of their voters didn't like that. So they got backlash from that. So I would guess it's going to get banned at some stage, but we're not there yet. Yeah, and it causes mental anguish, and it's known that a lot of gay people, teenagers, do commit suicide because of the way they're feeling, the loneliness, the stigma they get, the way they get treated by some people. So this film would have just exacerbated that and compounded that. So
imagine going through the therapy, coming out, and you start behaving a way that you're not, and then feeling that you failed this course or whatever it is they do, and it could just make things go from bad to worse.
Absolutely, yeah.
And a release from the Core Issues Trust says it promotes the stories of 15 individuals coming out of homosexual practice. The film is released by Core Issues Trust, the UK's only registered charity, offering therapeutic support for those with unwanted homosexual feelings in association with a range of like-minded groups from other parts of the world.
Well, they say offering therapeutic support. These type of things tend to be quite harmful and shaming, and not very therapeutic at all from the documentaries I've been watching.
No, and I think they get around this by saying, see how they word this, those with unwanted homosexual feelings. So if you come to them and say, I don't want this, I want you to do whatever it is you do, I guess they feel they're covered.
Yeah.
So conversion therapy is already illegal in Switzerland, Taiwan, 2 Canadian provinces, 9 US states, and the Australian state of Victoria. Now, Humanist UK Director of Public Affairs and Policy, Richie Thompson, says, the association between so-called conversion therapy and negative mental health outcomes for gay and bisexual people is strong. These are harmful religious therapies rooted in homophobia, not science. And that's the main thing. The government has a duty to end these harmful practices once and for all. Young people struggling with their sexuality deserve support to live confident, authentic lives without being made to feel shame due to the outdated religious views about sin and sexuality. And that sums it up, though, doesn't it, Neil?
It does somehow, because you're going back to Old Testament books to find the verses that you need to justify this sort of therapy and behaviour.
You're going back to the Bronze Age when they thought that somebody with an epileptic fit had a demon in them, and they needed a rabbi or whoever to cast the demon out.
I'm glad the humanists are doing this. They're very strong on this sort of subject in the UK. They speak up loudly, which I'm really, really pleased about. And if anyone is struggling with any thoughts, don't go to see one of these people. Go and see a doctor, and that they will recommend an actual mental health therapist who can help you work through the way you're feeling about stuff and talk through the way you're feeling about stuff without giving you the guilt, the shame, and all that sort of stuff, because there is nothing wrong with being gay. We're born one way or the other. Yeah. So, we're all just human beings.
People with a mental disease do not go off and have happy lives with partners and sometimes children and so on and so forth, which does happen with people who are very comfortable in their gay skin.
Yes, and we don't, Why should you live a lie? Why should anyone live a lie?
I suspect it's probably due to people around them, maybe the parents, their upbringing.
Yeah, maybe. But as we know, as I said a little while before, some of these poor people end up committing suicide. So this sort of thing kills. It really does kill people.
Yeah.
So good on View Cinema, and I'm glad it's getting some press. And well done for the Pink News.
And we move on now. This is from the nationalpost.com. Now, a lot of people are talking about this. Televangelist Gloria Copeland suggests alternate flu shot. Inoculate yourself with the Word of God. Now, unfortunately, with my religious upbringing, I remember Gloria Copeland and her husband. They have a TV show, and they come out with all sorts of bullshit. And they're on, I think it's God TV or Revelation TV, one of those over here. And this is probably the worst thing yet, where they say, forget science, forget medicine, just trust God. Copeland told her viewers in the video that Jesus himself gave us the flu shot. Now, this was a video which appeared on Facebook, and redeemed us from the curse of the flu. Since when? I seem to remember people with flu in my lifetime. Don't you?
I seem to remember some very religious people getting the flu.
Yeah. So it goes on to say more than 37 children across the US have died during a nasty flu outbreak that is already one of the worst on record, even though the season typically peaks in February. But Texas evangelist Gloria Copeland says there's nothing to worry about. In fact, she says she doesn't believe there's such a thing as a flu season. Now we're going to listen to this clip, so brace yourself.
Well, listen, partners, we don't have a flu season. We've got a duck season, a deer season, but we don't have a flu season. And don't receive it when somebody threatens you with everybody's getting the flu. We've already had our shot. He bore our sicknesses and carried our diseases. That's what we stand on. And by his stripes, we were healed. If you've already got the flu, I'm going to pray for you right now. Father, I pray for every person that has symptoms of flu. I'm asking you, Lord, by your supernatural power, to heal them now from the top of their head to the soles of their feet. Flu, I bind you off of the people in the name of Jesus. Jesus himself gave us the flu shot. He redeemed us from the curse of flu. And Jesus is Lord. Hallelujah.
Right. Have you ever heard anything like that? Neil, in your life?
There's a duck season, but there's not a flu season. Actually, there is a flu season. It's a very well-established thing. The flu starts in the east and slowly works around the world. So flu season is actually slightly different as it gets further east. In the UK, it tends to start just before Christmas and sort of like peaks end of January time.
And it's a product of evolution as well, which is probably another reason they don't like it.
Yeah.
We can't beat it because it keeps evolving faster than we can develop immunity to it.
But fancy telling people this. I mean, one, the flu can be really dangerous. We don't know from one year to the next how dangerous it's going to be. And this has been a bad one. People have been very ill and dying.
Yeah.
So yet again, they're telling people to ignore medical evidence, which is going to kill some people.
And we were saying before the show, how can they get away with this? Either they really do believe this, which I can't get my head around, or somehow this brings people into their congregation.
Yeah, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing it just to get people in. People are scared, people are worried, and
if they do get the flu, it's their fault. You know?
They claim they don't take medication themselves, but I don't know if I believe that.
Apparently, according to this, she once bragged during a conference that she and her husband did not need prescription drugs because the Lord heals all illnesses. Can you believe that?
No.
No, okay.
I think that... No, I don't believe it. I don't know what to say. I don't believe that. I think they're just preying on people who are worried about getting ill and getting them in the church and getting their money in their coffers.
And what was it you were telling me about a measles outbreak?
Yes, our husband, Kenneth Copeland's mega church in Texas, they had a measles outbreak because many of the congregation hadn't been vaccinated.
I wonder why.
I wonder why, yes, because they've been telling them not to be. And again, measles is a dangerous thing. So this is yet more science denial, basically, going on. Yeah. I try to rack my brain why the evangelicals want to deny science so much, and I think it probably comes down to the next story.
Oh yes, this comes from The Guardian. Indian education minister dismisses the theory of evolution. I will read that again. The Indian education minister dismisses the theory of evolution. Scientists condemn Satyapal Singh for saying Darwin's theory is scientifically wrong. Now, India's Minister for Higher Education has been condemned by scientists for demanding that the theory of evolution be removed from school curricula because no one ever saw an ape turning into a human being. I've never seen that.
No, neither have I.
No one would ever see that.
Because that's not how it works.
How many times have we heard this, Neil? We interact with people in the street all the time, street preachers and evangelists and everything, and they always come out with the same tired old rhetoric.
But I guess it must be nice for the evangelical Christians and the Muslims who don't believe in evolution theory to know there are some Hindus who feel the same way.
Yeah.
It's the ape to human being. We're not apes. Sort of argument, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not animals. If we teach kids that we're animals, then they'll start behaving like animals. That's another one I've heard.
Yeah. So he managed to basically find a few other scientists that also don't like the theory of evolution to sign a letter.
Yeah.
And then declares to the world that it's not real.
Yeah, that's some sort of fallacy. I think it's the fallacy of, look, he believes in it too.
Yeah.
Whatever that might be called. He's quoted as saying, "Since man is seen on earth, he has always been a man. Nobody, including our ancestors in written or oral, said they ever saw an ape turning into a human being." Yes, very good. So the article goes on to say that more than 2,000 Indian scientists have signed a petition in response, calling Singh's remarks simplistic, misleading, and lacking in scientific basis. Good. It is factually incorrect to state that evolutionary principle has been rejected by the scientific community. It is factually incorrect to state that the evolutionary principle has been rejected by the scientific community, the statement said. On the contrary, every new discovery adds support to Darwin's insights. There is plentiful and undeniable scientific evidence to the fact that humans and other great apes and monkeys had a common ancestor.
Yeah, so that...
I'm sure they don't like that.
They don't like that at all, for sure, but...
Other apes? How dare you?
Yeah, just that simple line, isn't it? That other great apes, we're not an ape.
Unfortunately, we are.
Goddamn dirty apes.
We share 98.8% of our DNA with chimps.
Oh, boy. Bonobos. We're always having this discussion. We can't remember whether it's bonobos or chimps. It's one of them.
Yeah. But the point is, that there is DNA evidence. I mean, even Darwin, he knew that this was true because all he did was he looked at, I think it was African gorillas, saw the similarities, and then decided that humans must have evolved in Africa, and that's been proven true over the years.
Yeah, but it seems with the Indian government, as in the American government, they're trying to sort of dumb down their population a bit, and a society that had ancient scholars that are credited with astronomy and mathematical findings, including invention of concept zero, have basically been accused in recent years of pushing ideological science.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to go away anytime soon. But luckily, his Prime Minister did sort of try to slap him down a bit.
Yeah.
Which is good news.
So you'll always get these sort of creationist mavericks who think that they're leading the way. But as you say, I mean, what is really great about this is that 2,000 other scientists, 2,000 Indian scientists signed that petition. Well,
India's building up a very high-tech economy, isn't it? So there's going to be a lot of highly educated thinking people there who are going to be, you're not doing our country any favours here. So hopefully that won't carry on. But this goes back into the whole science denial from the other side, and it seems to be the sort of extremist evangelical religious types that are pushing this narrative. And obviously that brings us on to the mother of all science denials, is climate change. That's going to kill everyone if we're not careful.
Yeah.
So these things are actually killing people now, but they are spreading the disease of science denial.
Yes.
And it could end up killing us all through climate change because we won't tackle it quick enough because people deny climate change.
All because fairy tales are much more palatable and easy to digest, and science is hard.
Science is hard, but that's why we have scientists.
Yeah.
And we can listen to them.
And science is also exciting. I mean, look what they shot up into space the other day. As silly as it was, that car...
still excited by that. I've watched the replay of those boosters landed dozens of times.
Yeah, and that what is that? What type of car is that he's put up there with the mannequin in it?
His Tesla Roadster, his own personal one.
And that's still up there, and people are actually photographing it from the ground.
Yeah, and the funniest thing I've read about that on Twitter, it's only a joke, is what if Elon Musk just committed the perfect murder?
Hey.
And hid the body in the spacesuit.
Oh, whose body?
Yeah, he claims there's nothing in there.
Nah.
But we are still progressing. That is the great news. But these people are holding us back. We're in the railway carriage, filling the furnaces full of coal, and they're in the carriages at the back. If we could just pull that pin out, let them go, we would be off and running. But
what's that syndrome? It's anger, then denial, and acceptance, or
I don't know.
Denial, anger. Yeah, yes. That one. Well, I think that's what some of these science deniers go through. I think that's what they are going through.
Yes.
But as long as it ends in acceptance, I mean, I think perhaps that's the way that progress works, and has always worked.
Maybe.
That's how alchemy died.
But it's absolutely. But this is going to get more painful for these people because scientific findings and the world's changing at sort of almost exponential pace now. So it's almost like they have to hold on to their nonsense, old-fashioned ideas because it's becoming so confusing. And
I can't keep up with this. This scares me. New stuff scares me. I don't understand it. Where's my Bible?
Yes. So we'll see in a few years' time. It's pretty easy to prove wrong these things, and every bit of evidence comes along shows that the anti-vaxxers are wrong, the anti-evolutionists are wrong,
the flat earthers are wrong,
the flat earthers are wrong. There's a pattern.
Yes. And the end of the world is never the end of the world. And there's another one of those coming up. Beware the Ides of March, because I think there's one coming up in March.
Indeed.
Okay, Neil, thanks for joining me. And remember, give us a big like and a subscribe. And we'll see you back here next week.